Lila Bullhorn coming to you live from office 2. We were in the kitchen and then I got a call and then she started crying. And so I had to give her a turkey tendon, put her on the bed. So now she's eating her turkey tendon. Hopefully she doesn't start crying. She may. We'll just play it by ear today. I tried, but she was not being compliant. We were going to be from the kitchen again, but she, like I said, she did lay on the rug and she did kind of chill out for a little bit, and literally right when I was going live, she started bouncing off the walls and started chewing all over me. She's starting to cut her back teeth, and so she's just eating a lot. So I got these turkey tendons, and they were like $11.99 for her. And it wasn't really a huge bag, but and I was hoping they would last a little longer, but they have been providing her a lot of relief. So I'll probably go buy another bag of them because they're just the perfect size to get into her back teeth, and it's just she likes them a lot better. She's been eating all of her treats, but it seems like the ones that reach to the back of the mouth are the ones that she's kind of leaning on right now. So I'm just watching her chow down. Kendra, it's nice to see you. Amanda, Outer Banks, it's nice to see you, my love. The Real Me Too, good morning, my love. Pale Rider, it's nice to see you. Emily, Stacy, Denise, good morning to you. Our beautiful Lisa B, always. It's nice to see you, my friend. Maggie, good morning. Diana, True Crime Addict is up in the house. I have to imagine that you have a true crime platform. So if you guys see her, hit her up, go sup her up. Safari, it's nice to see you. Brittany, good morning. Crystal, Bookworm, Bookworm, nice to see you, my love. Dawn, Holla Girls up in the house. It's nice to see you. T. Jessica, happy Labor Day to you too. It's nice to see you, Phil. Anna, drink Dee Dee ice coffee. I haven't had, since I started making my own lattes, I haven't gone anywhere for freaking coffee. I haven't. I even had a cup this morning. It's gone now. I didn't want to, I got a lot of work to do today. So I didn't want to go too much in and start having, where I'm just bouncing off the walls myself. So I got a Diet Dr. Not much better, right? But it has 0 calories. All my stuff really has 0 calories. But the only thing with the lattes is the milk. It just does something to my throat every time. I got away from milk for years, but then I started going to Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, and I'm like, the prices of a cup of coffee this day and age is just ridiculous. So I started making them at home, and actually I swore I wasn't going to get a machine to make the lattes because I got a blender. I was blending my foam and doing it all manually. I didn't really need a machine, but I happened to be at Goodwill, and they had a latte machine right there for $25. I didn't even know if it was going to work. And since then, it's been my best friend. It's all over but the crime. Sharon, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Kathy B. It's nice to see you. Friends up in the house. Hey, love bug. Sadie, Ginger Girl. Linda, yes, Delilah is beautiful this morning. Ashley, it's nice. Oh, well, thank you, Outer Banks. Tina, good morning. Jessica, Tony, our beautiful Sandy is up in the house. It was so nice meeting you. Melissa, good morning. Stage 3 survivor. Good morning, Muscles. Good morning. God bless you for being here. Truth in Time, it's nice to see you. I think I said hi, Brittany. I live in the same subdivision as the Proudfoots. You are welcome to my property. Well, thank you. God bless you. Actually, with that being said, if you would like to reach out, I have a few questions that you might be able to clarify for me. If you feel comfortable, everything, if you notice anything about me, I don't, unless things are public, I don't name drop or anything like that. I keep my sources confidential. If there's anything that I can, if you could reach out to me, I have a few questions. If there's anything you can answer, I'd be very grateful for that. But thank you so much. Elizabeth, it's nice to see you as well. Up here, you guys see the camera moving. She's on the move. She's on the move. There she is. So now you guys know, like, this is why, get off my tissue. Her and the darn tissues. Please don't knock the camera over. It would be a really bad day if you knocked the camera. It wouldn't be the worst day in the world, right? All right, guys. I'm trying here, right? Like I said, I was gonna do it out in the kitchen this morning, and when she started getting into the whimpery stuff, I realized it wasn't going to be able to happen. So I packed everything. Like, I got 2 phones, right, and I got them both on stands. I had them both plugged up to the wall, and I'm like, okay, this is not gonna work. So I'm like, okay, let's just go to the room, right? I know everybody teases me about being here, but I got a puppy. You guys are going to hear her either screaming and squealing in the background, or we're going to have to make things do, okay? I'm just saying. So she's teething. Poor little baby. Michelle, it's nice to see you. Oh, our beautiful Beat Betty fan. Love it. Metalos, it's nice to see you. Good morning, BHB. I love it. My daughter, Andrea, keep being amazing. You know you are loved. Oh, absolutely. You know what? It takes a few rotten apples to cause some problems, but I can tell you I've felt the love from the community, from people that understand what's truly going on and have had their eyes wide open for a while. You know, those are I feel it. You know, people write to me every day, and those things are the things that keep me going, because you guys know I live alone. I mean, it's just me and Delilah. I don't really have I have friends, but I don't really go and visit them. I haven't visited my friends in a really long time because of me being personally stalked, and I don't want to bring them into this toxic situation. So it helps me, right? It helps me a lot when I get those emails of gratitude, those emails of support, the emails of love, even just the funny stuff. Like, people will send me some stuff just to take my mind off the BS. And, it's always appreciative. I'm very thankful for the big, beautiful, amazing family we've cultivated here on the Bullhorn Betty channels. People that really care about these cases. We have a lot in our community. We have a lot of people that they don't want to be a part of the craziness, even though we're being drugged into the craziness. They don't want to be a part of it. Neither do I, right? We just want to be able to talk about our cases, advocate for them. The amount of information we've been able to, and this is what people don't understand, of people calling in, providing some information, again, all confidential. We're able to get that information over to Seth. He's able to see some of the information that we don't talk about on here, or I don't discuss. A lot of people send me stuff and they're like, why aren't you talking about this? And why aren't you talking about that? Well, it's because, there are certain things that we want investigated before, I open my mouth about it or corroborated somehow. But there's been a lot of stuff that we've been able to pull from TikTok, as well as, come on, Delilah, you're gonna have to get away from my stand, honey bunny. You're moving all over the place. Here, come on. Let's go over here. There you go, baby. There you go. Right there. Perfect. Good girl. Good girl. She's eyeballing me. Oh, shoot. Are you ready to chill? Okay, you're done? All right. So, no, I'm not a bite toy. Let's get your toy. There you go. This is her favorite toy, by the way. The real Me Too. This is by far her favorite toy. She loves this thing. She's loved it since day one. Hopefully she plays with it. Not me. But anyways, getting back from Philadelphia, Sophia, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Brittany. It's nice to see you as well. I know we're getting a few people in here, so I just wanted to make sure I said hi to everybody coming in. Jeremy, your passion is so hot, especially when I try not to get pissed, you know. Well, I'm passionate as is, so I get right, you know, and it's about conversation because I kind of have like a Nancy Grace, Judge Judy type of personality, with mixed with a little Howard Sternesque, right? So I have the ability to turn that passion on, because some people just want somebody to be angry, right? Like, we got a missing 15-year-old boy. Things aren't working out well, right? We believe people aren't being forthcoming, and people want to see that emotion. So we give them the emotion, right? Because in all fairness, people need to ask the tough questions. Not be good. Not. I should stop. How could CP hand arm scratches be from the dogs if he wasn't even home? Then they get rid of those dogs. I did, you know, I heard the rumors that they got rid of the dogs fairly shortly after Sebastian disappeared. But, you know, the rumors and the speculation stations and stuff like that, it makes it very hard because I'm not in their home, right? I don't know how their dogs went to the bathroom. It didn't seem like anybody walked the dogs. So, you know, they must have just threw the dogs out in the backyard to use the bathroom, run their energy down, do whatever they're doing, which, but, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not, you know, throwing a diss or anything like that. It's just that, with all the rumors and speculation, it's kind of hard to weed through, what's true and what's not true, especially in social media, because there's just so many bad actors on here, manufacturing information, making up information, passing it off as fact or true, not discerning between their opinion, their speculation, their theories, and the true hardcore facts. And that's where a lot of the problems lie, in my opinion. And I didn't realize, I heard the dogs, they got rid of the dogs. I heard that multiple times, but I didn't have any like concrete information that is true, because again, the dogs would most likely be in the backyard, because we've never heard from the neighbors saying that Katie regularly walks the dogs, you know. And so that's just an assumption that I'm making, that the dogs must have gone in the backyard to run and use the potty and all these other things. And I found it awfully odd, because they were the only other living creatures that were inside the home the night Sebastian disappeared. And I think them having the dogs and knowing how the dogs would react if somebody stood up, you know, if they were in a cage and say there was moving around, like, she would whimper, right? You put her in a cage, she's whimpering, especially if she's accustomed to sleeping on the bed. So it just makes me, you know, wonder, hey, Car Guy, Mr. and Mrs. Car Guy, it's nice to see you guys. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Labor Day. MJ up in the house, it's nice to see you. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on your way in. So we're in a situation where it seems like all things just don't, it's just not mathing. Okay, I'm not going to sit there and play people for stupid. Okay, this whole entire story, let's be honest, just doesn't math. It doesn't make sense to a normal person listening to this story and analyzing the story. Even people that aren't true crimers or investigative journalists, or, you know, just coming in, when you tell them the details of the case, are like, what? And then you add the potential of the dogs now being gone from the home. Like, we went through some photos at the very beginning of this case. They were posted on social media. I think people were going through their Facebook pages at the time and grabbing and screenshotting stuff that they saw. And one of the things that we saw were two different dogs that Chris and Katie apparently owned in a short amount of time. Like, they were photoed with one puppy, and then they were photoed with another puppy. And they don't have either one of those dogs, but they had these two Morkies, and now they don't even have those dogs. You know, why are you, I don't know why anybody would constantly be bringing puppies home if they have a history of not keeping the puppies. Where did the puppies go? Who has the puppies? Did they go to a animal shelter? Were they rehomed? Did they take them out in the woods? You know, I mean, I've got some serious questions about the animals because I can't imagine giving up Delilah. I could never imagine in a million years my puppy, me giving my puppy away for any reason. You know, I just, to be honest with you, I couldn't, I don't care if she started defecating all over my floors. I don't see myself just giving away my puppy. I'm in absolute in love with my dog. You know, I worry about her. You know, ever since the dog attack, I check. You know, so far the neighbors have been doing everything that they need to do to keep their dogs under control and inside their home. I didn't want them to, you know, be in the home. I just wanted them to be on leashes if they can't control them or keep them in their yard. You know what I'm saying? Because Delilah, wherever I go, she goes. You know, if I walk down to the mailbox, she walks to the mailbox. If I walk in the backyard, she walks in the backyard. She is by my side. You know, she is under control with or without a leash. She doesn't run off. She doesn't go into the roadway. She does not even go up to the, you know, I got the drainage ditch. She doesn't even go up to the drainage ditch. I'm training her not to go past. I have these little pygmy palms out in the front of the yard, so I'm training her not to go past the pygmy palms. So, you know, she's under control. And so, but it's still like almost a PTSD in a situation, in a sense, because I'm opening the door. Not only that, I'm opening the front door. I have the screen door there, and I look around, and then I pop the screen door open, and again look around before I let her out the door, and then I walk behind her because if the grass is a little wet, she doesn't just jump right into the grass. So I've got to walk in and then walk over to the area where I know she likes to be to use the potty. And that's what I pretty much do. And then she'll run over to me, and then she'll start sniffing the ground, and then she'll pee. No big deal. So I don't know why they got rid of the dogs. It is very perplexing to me because I just don't understand how you can fall in love with an animal and just give them away. It just seems very cold-hearted in nature, if you ask me, because I could never. I mean, it would literally. I remember rehoming Vince's dogs. When he left, he was supposed to come back. He came back on my birthday to pick them up, and he told me he had this great place for them, that he built this little area for them. I would have, and I think that's the reason why he lied to me, because I would never let him back at the house to get anything if he wasn't taking the dogs. And so he needed to stay the night to get on the road to go to Ohio the next day. And of course, I didn't want to stay in the house with him, so I went and stayed. It was my birthday weekend anyway, so I went and stayed with a friend. And when I came back, he did not even leave water. He didn't leave food. He left nothing for the dogs. The dogs went 24 hours without water. I was very, very, very pissed. This was, you know, I had been keeping the dogs for months. He was paying me for the dog food, so I could keep the dogs for him to come back and pick them up. And when I realized he didn't want to take the dogs, he only wanted all the tools from the business and took off in the trailer with that. That's when I realized he's not. And I gotta tell you, trying to rehome the dogs was very heartbreaking, because all of our rehoming things are full, as you can imagine. So it was a waiting list type of situation. But they were able to rehome the dogs, and one of the biggest things, the whole reason why I kept them all that month so Vince could get situated, was so that all three of them could stay together. And so it broke my heart that all three of them could not stay together because they were a family. And I never want to go through that again. Never, ever, ever. That's why, you know, I know that Delilah needs a playmate, but I don't want to overwhelm myself. I can manage her. I'm not going to get another dog. She's my dog. She's going to have to learn to be an only child. Don't know what to tell her. But I don't know why anybody would get rid of their dog, especially if they're good dogs, you know, and loving dogs. But I think, you know, this kind of goes and bodes, just my opinion, bodes right into the story, because they have stuff that can be proven otherwise with those dogs, right? Like, say if the dogs were in the kennel and say they needed to test whether they would bark if Katie got up, you know, there is that. Now they can't do that testing right? They can't verify whether she's being truthful or not. Everything that law enforcement was supposed to do, in my opinion, to find out whether anything happened to Sebastian in that home was not followed. They didn't care. They didn't try. You know, we're on the outside looking in. We cover these cases. This is predominantly what we do. We don't have, you know, peeping Tom cases. We don't have burglary cases. We don't have R cases. We don't have HT cases. We have true crime cases related to missing and murdered people, right? Those are all we cover. And we watch some of the best, like I said, the best policing with some of the best forensic work imaginable. And we have a front row seat to that. And then we come over here and it's like, what are these people doing? Like, we deal with this every single day, all day long. We've been dealing with it for well over 4 years. And we come over here and it's almost like Summerwell-esque. Except the difference is Summerwell's house was forensically tested. Let me repeat that. They forensically tested the house on the hill. They went through there and took bags and bags of evidence out of that home. And then you fast forward to Sebastian Rogers' case and we got squat. Absolute squat. Good morning, Seth. It's nice to see you, my love. I hope you're doing very well. Good morning. Hey, what's happening? It's nice to see you. Will you be looking into Jen Soto, why she hasn't been arrested? Well, I know why she hasn't been arrested, okay? I truly believe, and I said this at the very beginning, that I was kind of iffy whether she was going to be arrested or not, because I truly believe that Stephan preyed upon her. You know, she's not the best looking woman in the, not that she's ugly or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But he was a very, very good looking guy. You know, you kind of expected a guy like him to have arm candy. And not that anything's wrong. I saw some of the younger, she's got a beautiful smile, you know, and what have you. But I truly believe he preyed upon her for her daughter. I believe she was duped. I believe she had psychological stuff. I think that she utilized psychological medication that made her sleep a lot. I honestly believe that he may even have given her extra medication at night. These were things that I stated at the very beginning because she truly believed he had no part of it. And everybody's like, well, why would she lie to law enforcement? Because when somebody has that much control over you, not only mentally, but psychologically, like he had a lot of control over Jen Soto. And I know people are angry and may disagree with my opinion on this, but this is an opinion I've had that was unpopular when I said it back in the day when this all broke off, because you got to remember Madeline Soto and Sebastian Rogers both disappeared at the same time. And when I looked at the mother, I saw, you know, I've had experiences like this. And even though I didn't have children, and thank God I didn't, but I've had experiences where a man was very much in control over me and did horrible things and then lied to my face, and I absolutely was hook, line, and sinker and stood up for them and stood up for him and tried to fight the battle. And I just believe that, you know, the whole reason why she lied to law enforcement, because she didn't think she was lying. I think that he had it in her mind, if she didn't do this, they were going to think he did it. And Jen, you know me. You know I would never do anything. I don't know what happened. I dropped her off at the church. She wanted to go to the church. She was arguing. She was being fussy. You know, I didn't do anything wrong. If you don't say this just like this, they're going to look at me. We can't have, I did nothing. I love her. I love her like a daughter. You see what I'm saying? There was something that went on behind the scenes, in my opinion. Now, I don't have any evidence of this. I I just have, I look at people's behaviors and I try to understand and justify why people do some of the things they do. And the justification could be that it's innocent, and some opinions are it was willful. This is one where I feel that there were red flags there, but I don't think she let her mind believe that he was doing that. There was probably I have to think that Madeline had to start showing some behavioral, like she was starting to be a bad kid or starting to act out. I have to think that there was some behavioral stuff going on with Madeline at the time, and she was probably thinking it was some of this poor behavior that Madeline was showing, but Madeline was showing that poor behavior because of the stuff that was going on. That's kind of what I believe. I for a fact have dealt, because we met with a lot of people. This is years ago when Paula Miranda Rosa disappeared out there in Osceola at that reserve. Many people don't believe she was taken by a gator. Law enforcement wants us to believe that she was unalived by a gator, but they did DNA of the water. There's not a sign of her, not one stitch of belonging that was attributed to her being surfaced. You would think an earring, they're doing a death roll under it. You think that some clothing might have fallen off and floated to the surface or something like that. None of that happened. When you get to the car, her wallet, her phone, her keys, and a towel draping over the back as if it appeared that somebody had dried off and was trying to dry off their towel. So it kind of brought in a whole different type of people into that case, more into the ST realm of things. So I actually was able to talk to ST survivors and HT survivors. And one of the things that was noticed to me is there was two parts, but the majority was nobody knew a thing. They suffered in silence. Even their family didn't know a thing. They suffered in silence. There was very few, but there were some cases. That was just the experience I had with that one. Not that there's less cases, I'm not saying that. Just in that whole realm of meeting people and the conversations and stuff like that. But there were some, but not as many as you would think, where they told somebody, like a mom, and the mom didn't believe them, or the mom thought it was their fault. There are cases like that, but in the majority of the people that I spoke to during that time, we're just talking about the majority, it was those victims suffered in silence. Nobody knew what was going on with them. And so when this case came about, that was kind of the realm that I took, because I didn't want to believe that this mom knew about it. And people were like, well, why would she stay in the bed with him, and this, that, and the other? Well, you got to understand that Stefan came into this child's life very young, when she needed to cuddle, when she had, nightmares, and she needed somebody to sleep. We all have children. We all know what happens. So you have to kind of put reality behind it. Was it wrong? Yes, it was wrong. Parents, do not allow step parents to sleep with your children, no matter how nurturing they are. There's just it's sad, because you know what? There are so many good parents, step parents, that sleep with their children, to, like, if they have a nightmare or something, and they're not doing this disgusting stuff. They're truly there just trying to calm that child down. And it really takes away from that, in my opinion. It really takes away from that, where there's going to be a law that no step parent can be nurturing to their stepchildren. It's crazy, because of these sick predators, So I don't know, but I'm not as upset about that as many people are, because I truly think that by her being, I think they should have charged her with some type of negligence, because she was under the influence of medication while raising her child. But if the medication was being taken as prescribed by her doctor, you can't blame her. She was on a lot of, psychological stuff. Her brain was probably foggy most of the time. She was probably very easily to persuade, and and he was probably very persuasive. Even if she did see red flags or have a conversation with him about it, he probably manipulated her. I mean, we have to look at both sides of this. If you were in the same situation, and I don't want to hear, I would never put myself in that situation. You don't know, okay? Because you're not in the same situation. So it's easy to say, I would never do that, right? Until you're in the situation and you have a love for a step parent and a young child, and you see this person doing activities with them, painting figurines, going swimming, taking them to Disney resorts, being a stand-up person on its face. You're duped. It's not fair to punish this woman for being duped. She's already lost her daughter. And many people say, well, she said some very negative things about her daughter. We don't know what was going on in that house. We have to believe that she was acting out. I mean, she was dealing with an awful lot for her little body, and probably didn't know how to handle it. And usually children that can't get the attention in positive ways start getting attention in negative ways. And so I don't agree or disagree with the assessments of law enforcement. I'm just going to say that it appears law enforcement did a very large investigation into this matter. It's in Florida, so I do trust. I'm not really a fan of Orange County or Osceola County, but at the end of the day, they are Florida. We don't play Tennessee law. We play Florida law, where we like to put the bad guys behind bars and very quickly. So I have to think that there was a major investigation, and if there were charges that they could have charged her with, they would have, which tells me that what people think in their minds happened and what truly happened are two totally opposite things. So while some things don't look good on their face, it doesn't mean that she did anything wrong or anything unlawful. We'll have our own opinions, of course, guys. Oh, thank you, Ginger. 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Nice. Thank you. If you received your... Oh, Tony's in the house. Good morning, Tony. If you received your Bullhorn Betty memberships, don't forget to tell Ginger thank you. That was really nice. Thank you. Is it okay if I ask Seth which bedroom is Sebastian? I'm sorry if I'm out of line. No, you're not out of line. Well, if you're looking at the front door and you're looking at it this way, it's the room closest, from my understanding, it's the room that's more over toward the garage, because the garage is like on the side of the house. They have the door, they have like the windows over here. It's the first set of windows that I if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how you can do that. I'm not feel bad at all, and then keep doing it. I don't know. Thank you. To be honest, those dogs are better off without the hot-headed. Well, yeah, I know. It makes you wonder, what was it like if a dog had an accident in their house? Poor things. I mean, honestly, if you can hurt, and there are CPS reports, and if you can do some things to a 15-year-old boy, like I don't think a 15-year-old boy should be spotted on the ass or anything like that. I just don't like. No, that's to me inappropriate. They're too old. They're too old. But if they can do that, it does make you wonder, what kind of discipline methods they used on the dogs. I recently adopted 15 chickens and a rooster. Holy crap, that's pretty noisy, isn't it? But I bet you got some of the best eggs. Oh. We all wonder, we all would like to be rich, but you are better being you. The membership gift is very much appreciative. Thank you, Titch. It's nice to see you. Oh, Elizabeth. Elizabeth gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, please don't forget to tell her thank you. Thank you, guys. That's so sweet. Chica in CT. Seth, good morning, Seth. God revealing every day. We hold On to hope as we pray this is solved extremely soon. Hugs from Connecticut. Thank you so much for that. Ginger Girl says Sebastian's Army. Roddy says, when Chris told Katie on the phone to go to bed, he said, put the dogs up and go to bed. Where is up? Usually one would say, put the dogs away or put the dogs to bed. Well, from my understanding, according to the Nancy Grace interview with both of these parents, the mom and the stepdad, it sounds like there was like a kennel or a cage type of thing in a room, like maybe the laundry room or a bonus room or something like that, where they crated the dogs. When Chris was home, the dogs were always crated. Does it surprise you? And then when he was not there, according to statements he made on another YouTuber's channel, he stated that the dogs always sleep in bed with his wife when he's out of town. Those came out of his own mouth. And it made people kind of scratch their head and say, So he knew that they sleep with her in the bed. So for him to tell her to put them up and go to bed just doesn't align with a contradictory statement that he said in a relaxed environment, speaking about, his home life. And so why that night, especially with her being home and they always sleep with her when she's home by herself, it makes you very curious and want to know why. And why that night they would go in the kennel. And she did acknowledge that they were in the kennel that night, that they did not sleep in her bed. And then that was prior to the utterance of Chris on another platform saying they always sleep with her in bed. So it really caused a lot of confusion for all of us. I don't know the answer to that. They knew the dogs would be an issue, guaranteed they'd be alert if Sebastian left the room. Their dog hair can be traced just like humans. I hope they got it, but they didn't do any forensics from my understanding. So who knows? Who knows? I don't know what law enforcement is doing. I can tell you they're not following the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children directive. I know nothing other than that. Welcome, new coffee beans. Thank you. Thank you, guys. It's nice to see you all in here. Oh, no, he really wasn't BHB. We have to disagree on that. One by a huge amount. I don't know what that means. She told her daughter to go and sleep with him. Who? Well, I mean, if a child's right, yeah. I mean, if there's only 2 bedrooms, you're I want you to look at your spouse, and I want you to try to put you love that person. If your underage child needed to go snuggle up, like even on the couch or whatever, I mean, you guys are like a tight-knit family. I think it's a slippery slope when we start saying that just because a step-parent sleeps with somebody, sleeps with their stepchild, that there's something nefarious. I think that's a really slippery slope, guys. I'm sorry, I just do. There's a lot of great step-parents out there that love their children and their stepchildren as if they're their own. And when a child has a nightmare, if the parent has to get up early in the work week, then that leaves the step-parent. And I think if we were to base that a step-parent sleeping in the bed with a stepchild, especially when we don't know the situation, it sounds like there was some nightmares, there was hard sleeping. I think people are, this is a bad situation. I'm not discrediting that at all. But I don't want step-parents to be painted with this broad brush because of this sicko. Okay? And that's my biggest fear. I'm not going to, go into this. Step-parents should not sleep with their young stepchildren. We don't know what the situation is. I know that there are great step-parents that have had to stay up all night with their stepchildren vomiting and taking care of them. You know, I'm not going to pay. I'm not going to have this one sicko make every step parent out there that cares for their stepkids look like pedos. It's not happening. You know, I'm not going to do that because I know that there are loving step parents out there. Do we know that this kind of stuff goes on? Of course we do. But there's a lot more step parents that would never ever think to do anything like this. And for them to have this bad rap because of this sicko, it's hard for me to make that stretch. You know, we have to be reasonable here. What happened is without a doubt, this guy was a predator. Most step parents are not predators, you know? And there's got to be at least a few step parents in here that have had to sleep with their child because they had stepchildren because they had nightmares. They were very sick. They needed to rub their back. You know, I don't want it to get in here where this is a like that's a sick step. You know, come on. This was a sicko. We've got millions and millions of great step parents that treat their stepchildren like their own child. I don't know. I just have a different perspective on this. I feel very bad for Jen. I know a lot of people are gutting for her. I was not one of those people. I really did want to see how the evidence turned out before I went into it. You guys knew that. Anybody that watched me through Maddie Soto's case and Jennifer Soto, you guys know I was not a very popular person for taking that position. But I take the positions that I feel are right with fact, right? And this was one that I felt, you know, could be a slippery slope. Not just for this channel, but for step parents in general, in my opinion. For step parents in general. So, does anyone else think CP was attacked by Morkies? I have questions on that. Those look like, in my opinion, they look like bushes. They look like briars. They look like me when I go on a search. Okay? Let's be honest. That's that. When I'm in dense wood, searching for someone, my legs and arms are scratched all the heck. Okay? And I feel like he looked kind of like me after a search. So, you know, I'd like to know if those scratches were on him when he arrived at home that day, or if even law enforcement asked him to look at his arms. You know, I just, I'm so sick of our more smaller communities believing everybody. They don't believe that their community members could be nefarious. And that's the first mistake that anybody makes. Whenever you have a missing child, you should be side-eyeing the parents right out the gate, whether that child really ran away or not. You got to look at it like this as well. Like, even in my household, I ran away, right? There were a lot of toxic things going on in the household. Children that are in good homes, that are being raised without a lot of conflict, don't typically decide to run away. So for a child to run away in and of itself shows that there's problematic things going on inside that home. That, again, my opinion. So if this child just up and ran away with no history of running away, when did law enforcement stop and say, you know, there might be more here? You know, we might want to not put so much stock in the statements of the parents and really do our own due diligence here. You know, we need to lock down this bedroom. We need to get some forensics done just to eliminate this nagging possibility in the back of my head. You know, that's kind of what I think I expect from law enforcement around the country. I think that's what the country expects from our law enforcement around the country. People do nefarious things, and, you know, we were always taught in school, stranger danger. It was pushed heavily in my time. Stranger danger, stranger danger, stranger danger. You would always think that somebody was, you know, that if you're going to disappear, it's going to be by a stranger. Nobody ever talked about the statistics of homegrown disappearance. And now that I'm older covering these cases, I find out that stranger danger is is very small in number compared to somebody that knows the person. We never learned that in school. You know, we never learned that Uncle Charlie might unalive you, right? They didn't teach us to side-eye our own family. They told us to side-eye the white truck that says free candy on it. Well, guess what? I've never in my life seen a white truck with free candy on the side of it. Okay? But I can tell you how many cases I've covered where mommy, daddy, family friend, or family member was responsible for the disappearance of somebody. Very limited stranger danger. But that's what they pushed in my school. So how many other people suffered in silence because they weren't told that, hey, some of these harms come from inside your own home? Just like with hurricanes. Do you know how many times? It wasn't until I went down, I've been lived through many hurricanes. I've lived in this community my entire life. You know, we've had hurricanes. It's just part of our life. You know, they don't really scare us like they scare people from other states. You know, we have parties and go to the beach and wait for it to come. I mean, we're a little kamikaze like that here in Florida. But do you know how many times it didn't kind of snap until the big hit in Fort Myers? It wasn't supposed to go to Fort Myers. Fort Myers literally had no time to prepare before this you know, Category 5 hurricane smashed into the side of them. I mean, I saw huge ships, propellers larger than 2-story homes sitting in the middle of roadways. Okay, I don't think people understand the gravity of storm surge. I didn't know what storm surge was. I had no idea that it's basically the sea coming on board. And the sea literally going 9 to 13 feet high. And people drown. Do you know not one time in my whole upbringing in school and all these things, did they ever say, when a hurricane comes, go out to the boat and get a life preserver and put it on? Not one time. But do you know that all these people that died, if they would have went out and got the life preserver from their boat, they might still be here? Not one time have I ever heard anybody tell anybody when a hurricane comes, put a life preserver on. 90% of the people that are deceased from hurricanes drown. So in my common sense, the mitigation of that would have been put something buoyant on your head that lifts you above the water, that allows you to float with the water as the water is increasing. Still to this day, I don't hear anybody talking about putting life preservers on their bodies when a hurricane is approaching. You know? So let me tell you, if you guys are in Florida and there's a hurricane, put a life preserver on. Right? Now, if it's not a direct hit, I wouldn't worry about it. You'll just probably look goofy. But you should have it next to you in case things get a little crazy, right? Life preservers. They're more than just they're more than just for being on a boat, okay? I really do believe that needs to be a new strategy here in Florida, is that when we have places that are going to be direct hits, remind people to get their life preservers on. I do believe life preservers would save a lot of people in the state of Florida and other places that are suffering from hurricane water rise. You know, the storm surge. Where can I find your work on Gabby Petito? Most of my work on Gabby Petito was on TikTok. I didn't start, I mean, I do have some of the first, sorry, my nose is itching. I don't know why. I think my allergies are really itching. Sorry. A lot of my stuff is on earlier videos in TikTok when I didn't know how to video edit, so don't mind me. I remember I tried to do one, and I think I made people more dizzy than I got the content. I was a work in progress. You should see some of my older work to my work now. Now I have video editing software. I can clip. I can really make some amazing videos, you know. But I gotta say, like, here's one. Do I have it. I don't know if it'll be on this phone. Let's see. I don't think it will be. I think these are, we'll find out. Sorry. Yeah, it's not on all the phones. It's on that phone, but let me see here. Like, I can do some pretty snazzy stuff. I haven't done it in a while, though. Let's see if it'll let me. Nope. I wish it would allow you to search videos. It won't even let you search videos. It's irritating on the app. Let me go to the bottom. I'll show you some of, I did some, you know, I stopped working on the Summer Wells documentary, but I'm doing a documentary on Summer Wells, compiling all the work, you know, and getting it into, like, kind of, I wanted to have it, I don't know, I'm trying to hold out because I kind of believe the ending is near, you know. I kind of feel like, we should be getting pretty close to an arrest, especially if TBI took it over, but we don't know. We don't know. Let me see if I can find it. I wanted to find you. Either behind the gates. I haven't sat down and done a customized video in a fairly decent amount of time, but probably over a year. Well, outside of TikTok, I do a few things on TikTok. But where's my Summer Wells? I know I put it in video. Here's one of them. This is the ugly grouper, but I used to actually do videos. So I do some video. I mean, when I do it, it's pretty involved. You know, it takes me hours upon hours to get this stuff edited. But there is one that I'm very, very proud of. There's two. One I did for let me see here. Bullhorn. Maybe I can do it this way. Maybe it'll let me. I just wish they'd have a search for my channel on the app, because that's really annoying that we can go and search the channel on a computer, but can't do it on oh, there. Oh, here it is. Here, this is kind of the stuff. I did this like I started it 6 months ago, and then I kind of got onto something else and haven't finished it.
In a quarter mile, sharp right onto Tenn Road. Okay. Should be like right here. In a quarter mile, sharp right onto Tenn Road. Our sign is down. Someone else's sign is down. You can see her house now. Sharp right onto Tenn Road. Council on this remarried.
I think Candace has a hand in whatever happened in this home, and I think Don covered it up. If, in fact, he was at work at the time she disappeared, is he truly trying to blame his wife for something that he did? They know what happened to her. I can see a child injuring themselves. That is something else. You know, I don't think this was planned. Something snapped in her. Molly Golightly's live, he said he had 7 alibis and she had none. She's going down. My thing is one person only needs 1 alibi, the truth. But with that, him explaining himself like, I got 7 alibis, who needs 7 alibis? That shows right there that could possibly be deception. Did he come home and take care of business once she was dead and he needed to move her body? Or, again, she was out. I mean, look at that. There's no gate around that property whatsoever to keep kids in. Summer was 5 years old. 5-year-olds make mistakes. They do things their parents don't want them to do, especially in a comfort zone like their home. There is a theory that maybe something happened to her beforehand, but with all the events and evidence that we have collected, but primarily that somebody was out with her alive that day, and after the witness came forward about the violence that goes on in this home, it's just hard. It's hard to believe that she left this. I don't think anything happened to her at the water hole. I think she died right here on this mountain.
All right, so I've been communicating with Don since we've been up here, asking him for help, saying, hey, come out and help us, come out, we want your help to find Summer. He's been responding back and forth, says he couldn't meet us, I said to him, we want to put our personal differences aside with you and Candace and would like you both to come join us as we search for Summer together. Are you guys willing to do that? Still doesn't, say yes. He says, where are you going to search? We're almost 200 different police agencies have been searched already. Need to think outside the box. Then he says, hey, didn't want me up on Grassy Creek Road for some reason. That's on top of Bays Mountain. What does that mean? What is he trying to direct us up to Grassy Creek Road? And I responded, hey, Don, please answer. Have something to tell you important. Okay. So we're trying to call Don. We're trying to meet him. We're trying to get him to come out with us to search for Summer Wells while we're in Tennessee.
Sound familiar?
We're the only group right now actively looking for Summer Wells.
He's just making excuses. He's making excuses. We're in town. We are the only company actively searching for Summer. He does not want to meet us. He knows we're here. He's finding excuses not to meet us. So
5-year-old child's missing and likes to play games. Here.
When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Don, it's Molly Golightly. I know that you guys know that we're in town and we just want to find your daughter. All we want to do is find Summer, and we were hoping to get your help. Hi, Don. It's Molly Golightly again. We're here in town. We want to help you find Summer. We're the only active searchers right now that cares about your daughter. I wish that you would call us back and let us talk and meet with you. It's so strange the way we keep coming down here and you keep dodging us. This is your daughter. We're the only ones that care.
The Wells home, right there. The Wells home. House of Horrors. Right there, House of Horrors.
So, it's not all about live broadcasts. I actually do pretty darn good videos and video editing and stuff like that. That's going to be either a 3-part, 30 to 45 minute episode, mini documentary, or it's going to be a full-fledged documentary that's an hour to an hour and a half. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do it. Kind of stop there. There's a lot more information. That's just the beginning part of it. And then I was going to rewind from there and kind of start back at the beginning of what happened in this story. We do have Allie on camera before she passed away giving her statements of what she knows to be happening. And at the end of the day, the one thing that she has expressed to me out of all of this is that her son was never the same after that day. And he wasn't there for Summer's disappearance. Obviously it leads me to believe something more happened at the water hole than we believe. So, there is that. But I know a lot of people, like I said, have their differing of opinions with the step parents and stuff like that. And it's like, I have a step parent as well. And I can't imagine my step parent doing anything horrible to me. He's a a great guy, a Marine. You know, he's the father of my little sister. I mean, you know, he's a great step parent, you know, and I have problems painting with such a broad brush, and I'm not going to do it, no matter how we feel about Stefan or the things that say, you know, in a normal family, those things are very innocent, and in this particular story, they were detrimental and life threatening. So, you know, what do you do? What do you do? Betty, I'm sorry for what's happening to you during the genuine advocacy of these victims. I believe that the system is wrong about you, and all these hate channels have no merit as they aren't. Well, we go through the process. I think once we realize that all these people were lying, and I think this has kind of pushed things over to an edge where it's gotten so big that it's going to be hard to contain at this point. Just my personal opinion. We'll see how things go, but you know, it is what it is. We put our boots on. We strap up every day. We put our boots on, and we just keep walking through the shit, right? And we'll continue to walk through it. It's just we're strong, right? We're strong, and we're resilient. At the end of the day, we do what's right. We do the right thing because it's the right thing to do, not because it's the easy thing to do. And we'll continue to follow that mindset. You know, that's kind of how we roll over here. I know for a fact nothing I did was unlawful or illegal, and so I have confidence in that. There's no way to twist a turn. I mean, I've got literally everything. I was there for 4 days. It was pretty easy to document. I'm sorry to hear that, Cryo. Is it cryo? I have my hooked on phonics is off, so please forgive me. Mom, it's nice to see you. I can't imagine not having my kids, even though 2 out of 3 are adults. My youngest with autism and a few other disabilities. It's a whole different type of parenting compared to the 2 oldest. Yeah, that's my understanding too. I've learned a lot. That's the one thing, and it almost breaks my heart even more because it's through the beautiful people that watch me, that tell me about their stories. I mean, a lot of you guys reached out to me when Sebastian's case was breaking to tell me and help me learn, because I was very public about how ignorant I am in autism. You know, I've never met anybody that had autism prior to this case, or that I knew of, right? That I knew of. And I didn't know about the meltdowns. I didn't know about, different types of like the runners. I didn't know about the verbal, nonverbal. I mean, I was really, really, really educated in autism. I will not say I'm an expert in autism, but I believe compared to what I was, from ignorance, to where I am now, it's like I got a good understanding, now about it. And I think the common thing is that they all have triggers. The triggers are different from individual to individual because they're unique to that individual based upon their own experiences. When they didn't like something, they usually became ish about it, and did stuff like, for example, for Sebastian, it was stepping in a bed of ants. And when he got bit up by ants, he never wanted to go outside without his shoes on. Because it was a traumatic experience. People with autism, that's why I say, they're your normal run-of-the-mill children that don't have, any kind of disabilities, rearing is fine. But when you have a child that certain things are traumatic, anything even as simple as swatting on the butt could be, in my opinion, considered abuse because it's so traumatic for that person. It's not discipline, it's something worse. So I don't know. But one thing I've got is that the gaming seems, and I said that, I think is the only thing that I've been able to confirm from one autistic child to another autistic child. It seems like they all love gaming and gaming system, and it really does help them thrive, help them remain calm. There's something about the gaming that keeps their attention and allows them to be comfortable, right? So that's, out of everything I've learned, it seems like the games and the gaming systems are the one thing that I can attribute that most all people with autism enjoy doing and playing, you know. TB was so nice turning Sebastian into malt on ice cream, but commenced to leave the state, drive across the country, and go to Puerto Rico 2 days after the grandson disappeared. There's just, you got to remember, during the peak of the searching is when his mom and stepdad took off as well. You know, their behavior is very telling to somebody like me. You know, it doesn't bode with the environment. It doesn't bode with normal behavior. It's very odd behavior, right? It's odd behavior, you know, to hear grandparents running off, and then to turn around 2 weeks later and have the mom and stepdad running off to a different state nonetheless. None of these behaviors bode with the environment of a missing child. They just don't. I'm a behavior person. I monitor people's behavior. I do things to elicit certain responses and behaviors from people to see what makes them tick. You know, there's just a lot of behavioral analysis that I do. In my opinion, their behavior is what has my attention, right? Their behaviors is what has my attention, because they don't bode with what we're dealing with. They're actually completely opposite of what I expect from parents and step grandparents in a situation like this. Completely different. They're almost Jacqueline and Trezell West like, not Riley Strain's mom and stepdad like. Okay. We have innocent parents, their behaviors and how they act, and we have guilty parents, their behaviors and how they act. And I can tell you that what I'm dealing with and seeing with my own eyes in this case is more on the West side than the Riley Strain side. Okay? I don't know why the tip of my nose is just itching. I don't know what that is. It's driving me nuts. Love living in a time that computers exist. I remember the time before I have ever seen a computer. I'm getting old. I remember that too. I used to be outside playing. I used to ride bikes, you know. Do kids know how to ride bikes anymore? I'm curious. Right? I remember the furthest thing from my mind was a computer. It was friends, right? Friends. Now we spend entirely too much time. I think that's what's happened with our mentality in this country and abroad, is people don't get out and have personal relationships anymore. So I'm going to challenge everybody this Labor Day, right? This Labor Day, get the heck out of the house. Go have some real human interaction, right? Go and hang out with some friends. Have a steak, a glass of wine. Go lay out in a bikini on the beach. Even if you're a little fluffy, if you want to wear a bikini, go do it. Go get yourself some sun. Soak up the vitamin D. Get out of the house. Unplug. All right, guys, listen, it's been real. It's been fun. We're over our hour. I'm trying to go through here. I want to thank all the beautiful people coming in. We have almost 700 people in chat. Do me a favor, and as you guys are closing out, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. But something more important is start sharing some of these videos. If you get something out of these videos, if information comes out and you like it and want to share it, please don't keep me a secret. I'm Bullhorn Betty. I cover true crime. I've been doing investigative journalism, gonzo journalism, video journalism for a significant amount of time, long before I ever got here on this platform with the true crime world. I used to be a political advocate and activist, and I still am in many parts, you know. Right now, we are working on trying to find any information that will lead to the whereabouts of Sebastian Rogers. There's a $50,000 reward A $50,000 reward. That is going to change somebody's life. Okay? $50,000 in this economy and in this environment is life-changing money. And you know you're going to get it because it's backed by the FBI. There's no, oh, we're not going to get it. Like, it's backed by the FBI. You will get this money. We need people out there. We need people searching. Honestly, I would start at bridges. I mean, you need to be on top of those bridges looking down. If you have the ability to have a boat sonar, get under those bridges. See what's under those bridges. I'm telling you, I feel like these bridges might have some answers. They really, really might have some answers. So for all those people out there with boats and sonar and side imaging and all these different things that they can utilize, bring the boats out. It sounds to me like the Cumberland River stretches for a massive amount, goes under many, many bridges. It might be some way to do, a couple day trip out there, right? And hit all the bridges under the Cumberland River in that area. It sounds like the Cumberland River is a massive, body of water, not like a lake, massive. I'm just talking about the length of it. It was all the way up in Nashville. That's what Riley Strain was found in the Cumberland River, closer to the Nashville area, right? That snakes all the way around. I think that if somebody really, really has the ability to spend a few days out there, hit that Cumberland River, clear all those areas under bridges that have overpass, but pay more attention to the bridges that go over the Cumberland River in desolate areas. I'm telling you. The way I'm looking and reading this, it doesn't look like if something happened to him, if he walked out of the house and fell in, it would have happened during the nighttime, right? Because from midnight to 6 a.m., it's dark. So these are places that are not going to be heavily traveled if we apply the theory of him walking out, which I don't believe. But it's also conducive for the timing when somebody would be trying to get rid of something. We've seen this before. In one of the cases, a gentleman literally had and this is not what I think happened in this case by any stretch of the imagination, but in the middle of a horrible storm, a guy's trying to get rid of his wife and takes his truck and one of the tree grinder machines and had it hanging over an overpass, shooting branches, what they thought was branches, into the water, and it wasn't. It was his wife. Very disgusting. I get it, okay? But these are things that have happened. These are true cases that have happened. And he was eventually caught. But and the only reason why he was caught is a lone ranger, just one car happened to go through this one bridge and saw it. Just one car that night just happened to see this weird thing. Didn't know this was that guy that they were talking about. Thought he was with the county, but just in an abundance of caution, like a year later, decides to say, hey, you know what? I really did see somebody that has that truck on this bridge. And this is what he was using. They were able to still get DNA or something like that. Maybe it wasn't a year later, but it was something similar to that. It was a length of time. And they were able to locate the rental equipment and still get DNA out of that rental equipment. Then they went to the water and they started searching that water, and lo and behold, they started finding pieces of bone, teeth, and other things that were able to be tested and ultimately confirmed as the wife. So we have to remember there is somebody out there that probably saw something and don't even realize what they saw was off. And we just need anybody that was out there to talk about it, right? And the bad thing is I don't believe it would have happened on the 26th, either in the morning or at night. I think it was a week later. There's a 17-hour disappearance, a 17 to 24-hour disappearance of the stepfather. And I'm sorry, out of all the way I tried to map the situation out, there's no way it should have taken that long to go pick up a camper and bring it home. No way. I'm sorry. I've tried to give as much grace and, tried to be as liberal as I can on length of time to do this and that. And I just can't work it where it would take anybody 17 to 24 hours to bring a camper home that's only 3.5 hours away. It does not make sense. The behavior does not match the situation that this person was in. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Hey, Abigail, it's nice to see you, my love. I don't think I said hi to you this morning, Sonia. Tear Bear, it's nice to see you. Diana, Earth Angel, P.S. It's nice to see you all. Mama Bear. Aw, it's nice to see you all. Stephanie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, what do we got here? Abigail. Chris did not stay at Easy Park. I didn't think he did, but everybody was like, he stayed here, he stayed here, he stayed here. But, I don't want to argue. I just figured I'd go over there and check it out. And I had already been back, and I haven't been able to go and get back there again to do any more research or searches. So I'm glad Silver on the Scene was able to confirm. And it sounded like the people at the Easy Park were very willing to provide and help aid in this missing boy. So I'm very appreciative that somebody was able to get over there. Now the question is where was Chris staying during this? Was he really truly staying at the Yogi Bear campground? I heard he was. People corrected me saying it was Easy. Now we've confirmed that Easy wasn't being used by him. So it brings me back to, I do still believe that he was at Yogi Bear, Now that it's my understanding, again, I don't know personally, it's my understanding that he's no longer there. The camper is no longer there. None of this stuff is there. So now might be a great time for somebody that has a docile personality to go up there and maybe get some information, about it, and relay that information, or at least ask them to call law enforcement. I prefer the FBI. And, maybe speak to an FBI agent, or have an FBI agent go there and talk to them, to find out whether the story holds water or not. I personally don't know. I do know that there's $50,000 out there, and we should be grinding this out. And everybody knows this, the situation for this channel. If we ever come across anyone or have the opportunity to receive any reward for our search efforts in finding somebody, that money this channel will not keep. We will always give that back to the family. And that's just our motto. It's been my motto since the creation of this channel. We're not here to profit off of reward funds. We're here to help families, and nobody deserves help as much as Seth Rogers and Jennifer Santinello, for that matter. Jennifer Santinello. She's the mom of Layla Santinello. Layla Santinello has been missing since 2023. We just did a 1-year milestone of her disappearance. It was very, very sad. I know her mom worries every single day. She's got a daughter that has not seen her mother since over a year. It doesn't sound like this girl just ran off and is just getting high somewhere, because she always calls home for money. She always calls home for help. She always comes home for this. She's never had another post on her social media account. Something seriously happened to Layla Santinello, and I believe people know exactly what happened to her and are failing to come forward. So it's another case that SF decides he's going to attack an innocent woman that's just trying to raise her granddaughter and find answers for her own daughter. But he's too busy, criticizing her and trying to make her look bad. The MO of Team JLR. The MO of Team JLR. So, anyways, that's kind of where we're at in this case. It's where we're at in Layla Santinello's case. I'm hopeful that we can get something going on here, where we haven't really revisited Layla's case in a while. And I would like to take just one of my live detours just to kind of refresh us on the Layla Santinello case, but I don't think that's going to be for at least probably another week, maybe 2 weeks, because I've got some things coming up. I don't know. I have to go through my schedule and figure out what day would work just to take a side day to kind of get abreast and update on that case. I think that's it, folks. So I missed one. Hold on, let me go here. Actually, let me just go over here and go to so I don't miss any. There we go. This is just again to thank Ginger Bell as well as Elizabeth for the 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships each. God bless you for that. Ginger Girl says Sebastian's Army. Abigail says Chris did not stay at Easy Park. Chris did not stay at Easy Park. I have more information. Chris met Kathy and traded RVs. I've been hearing about these RV trading. I haven't believed it because we have a picture of what was hooked on the back of his RV. So I would like some more information, Abigail. If you have anything that helps guide me to that research of who's doing that and what their findings are, I'd greatly appreciate it. You can send it to bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. As always, guys, I love the fact that we're all coming together for this young boy. Please, 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 the only request I have, I've been through a lot, as many of you guys know, is stay away from the hate channels. Stay away from the nonsense. Stay away from the garbage. Don't believe anything coming out at this point because it's been manufactured. I'm telling you guys, this stuff is being manufactured. Seth is just a father trying to find information about his son. And he's just trying to bring his son home. He had a normal day, went to work, got off work, and his whole life has been a living hell since that day. And when he needs help, he's met with people that don't like me and want to attack him. I think that's totally unfair, unprofessional, and shows no integrity. So please, I ask if you guys please pray and keep your minds on Seth as well as Sebastian. Sebastian's out there somewhere. He needs to be found, but we also need Seth with strength, right? Strength, because he's the only one really looking for his son. And we need to try to keep him upbeat. We need to try to make sure he has everything he needs to continue this fight. And we just want to be very uplifting to him and his family through this very difficult time. You know, it's been over 6 months. All right, guys, I love you. God bless. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe. But more importantly, don't be the toxic trash that we see on YouTube every day.